In May 1998, the ground shook beneath the deserts of Rajasthan, not from an earthquake, but from a nuclear test. India had just declared itself a nuclear power, and the world reacted instantly. Sanctions, pressure, condemnation, because this wasn't supposed to happen, not without approval, not under global watch, and not by a country that had largely worked alone. But India did it anyway, and to understand how, you have to go back decades. After independence, India began building its scientific foundation. One of the key figures behind this effort was Homi J. Bhabha. He laid the groundwork for India's atomic energy program, focusing on research, reactors, and long-term capability. At the time, the goal was peaceful use of nuclear energy. But global events began to change that direction. In 1964, China conducted its first nuclear test. This shifted the strategic balance in Asia. India now faced a nuclear-armed neighbor. The need for deterrence became more urgent. A decade later, India took its first major step. In 1974, India conducted its first nuclear test, known as Smiling Buddha. The test was carried out in Pokhran. It was described as a peaceful nuclear explosion, but globally, it was seen as a demonstration of nuclear weapons capability. The reaction was immediate. Countries imposed restrictions, access to nuclear technology was limited. International cooperation decreased. India was effectively isolated in the nuclear domain. From this point forward, progress became more difficult. If India wanted to advance its nuclear capability, it would have to rely on its own scientists, engineers, and resources. Over the next 2 decades, the program continued quietly. Research expanded, designs improved. Capabilities were developed without external support. During this period, one of the key contributors was APJ Abdul Kalam. He played a central role in integrating missile technology with India's strategic programs. His work contributed to the development of delivery systems, which are essential for a functional nuclear deterrent. At the same time, the global nuclear structure became more restrictive. Treaties, like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, aimed to limit the spread of nuclear weapons. India chose not to sign, citing concerns over unequal treatment between nuclear and non-nuclear states. By the 1990s, the situation had evolved further. Regional tensions remained. Nuclear powers were present in the neighborhood, and global monitoring had improved significantly. Any nuclear test would likely be detected by satellites and intelligence systems. This made secrecy extremely difficult. In 1998, a decision was made. Under the leadership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India moved forward with a new series of nuclear tests. The operation required careful planning. Movements were concealed. Activities were conducted in ways designed to avoid detection. The tests were carried out under the program known as Pokhran-II. On May 11, 1998, 3 nuclear devices were detonated. 2 more tests followed on May 13th. These included both fission and thermonuclear designs. The tests confirmed that India had developed operational nuclear weapons capability. This included both the design and the means of delivery. Globally, the response was immediate. Sanctions were imposed by several countries. Diplomatic pressure increased. But the strategic reality had changed. India had established itself as a nuclear power. The journey was not based on a single event. It was built over decades through scientific leadership, including Homi Bhabha, through technological development, supported by APJ Abdul Kalam, and through political decisions taken by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. India's nuclear program developed largely without external alliances. It relied on internal capability, long-term planning, and strategic intent. Today, India maintains a nuclear deterrent as part of its national security framework. This includes land-based missiles, air delivery systems, and sea-based platforms. The development of this capability reflects a combination of science, policy, and strategy, a process that unfolded over time, step by step, decision by decision, frame by frame.